Here at Varsity Gaming Enterprises, we strive to make the easiest type of content that requires little to no editing and little to no thought. So I'm gonna try to make a tier list of the operators. Any thoughts right off the bat?
Well, like number one, I don't like how it is not organized into like CTU.
I feel like we should start with the worst operators and work our way up from there. Obviously, Tachanka, F tier.
I don't think this is obvious.
Actually, okay, I guess we gotta say what's our criteria for the ranking? Like,
I would say weapons, utility, how many situations they can be used in. So like the amount of times you're picking them, right?
okay, so weapons, his weapons are terrible. They're just like probably some of the worst weapons in the game.
His SMG slaps, man.
It's okay, but like the whole point of bringing Tachanka LMG is so that you can make rotates, which is his utility. So if you take his SMG,
Yeah.
you lose your utility.
But you can make that same argument about like smoke. You have to take the shotgun for utility over the FMG.
Yeah, but everyone takes the shotgun because it's better.
Yeah.
So like, but
So
you're saying you can take the SMG, but you can't because then you lose your utility. It'd be like taking FMG on smoke. You don't do that.
mm,
I'll bump him up to an E just because of his utility with the LMG. That's as high as I'm
fair.
willing to go.
All right.
In terms of like weapons as well as actual use, I think Warden is pretty far down there. He is good when he is useful, but the situations where he's useful are just so rare, and
Yeah.
it's just you're not gonna really get much use out of him.
Big Warden main, but at the end of the day, I really think he should be down there because
Hmm.
you're really bringing nothing to the team by picking him.
Yeah, exactly. Blackbeard probably down there as well.
So
His weapons are ass. His weapons got nerfed into the ground. His utility is zero. It's completely non-existent. The only situations you could really bring him are where you just want to frag out, but there's so many better operators you could frag out on and still bring utility.
yeah, I mean I agree, but like if he's F, why do we complain about him so much? you
I
know,
mean, I was more complaining about him before the nerf. I don't think I've complained about him since.
that's fair. Yeah, I agree with F.
Finka's an obvious one.
Yeah, fuck Finka. If you play Finka, especially if you don't like warn your team that you're Finka boosting, you should lose your multiplayer privileges.
Amaru is probably F tier. Like I love her. Her gun's really good, but
I
her
disagree.
her utility is ass. Like
Mm,
guns, top tier because she has the G8. Utility, garbage. Uses for her utility, garbage. Like
I would put
if you
her at E. I think she's better than like Warden and Finka.
you think just because of her weapon,
I think her gun, but also it's if you use her in a certain way. Like if you're obviously if you're gonna Maru right into sight, you're probably gonna die. But if you Maru to like the other side of the map and then get into a good angle and just hold it only for defenders, she can be useful.
but if you're gonna go to an angle just to hold it, it would like you could do that with anyone.
Yeah, but it's the speed in which you can get there.
I guess.
I wouldn't put her at D. I mean at F. I'd put her at E.
I don't think there's that many people that I'm like, yeah, these guys are useless. Like
Mm,
Glaz, I'd say is probably E
I would
tier.
say I would say Nook as she is right now is pretty terrible.
I'd say
Right.
she's like E.
I would put her F to be honest.
Her gun is good. The FMG9 is good.
Yeah,
Um,
but her gadget's absolutely useless. But she has nades, I guess.
yeah, she brings utility with her nades. And with the buff, I would probably put her at like B tier once she gets that buff. I'll put her at E. That's where I'm
Yeah.
willing to leave her. Glaz, I don't think belongs above E. I just can't tell whether it's E or F.
I'd probably put Glaz in F.
He's basically just Warden on attack.
Because I mean, like, there's whole things like sniper see-through smokes, but as it is right now, there's like just so much that can stop a smoke. Or
Hmm.
also, yeah, I don't know. I just think he's pretty shit.
Fuse, I'd put at E. He's not
Same.
bottom of the barrel because his gun is really fucking good. His gadget can be good. It's just that if they go on anything that's above the basement floor, you're kind of just useless because you can't fuse the ceiling or the roof.
Yeah. Yeah, they really did the Russian ops dirty, huh?
Yeah. I
I
put
would put
Capcan at
Capcan
like
at
D.
D. Yeah.
I'd say Lions like D tier. I mentioned this before when we were playing against it. Like, I don't think Lion is a strong operator by any means, but I do think whenever someone plays, I'm like, oh, these fucking pussies playing Lion. Like,
Yeah, it's just you have to use it right because like
hmm
in post plant he's really good. If you like want to execute on something, you can use a gadget and he can be pretty good there. So I'd give him like a D.
I'd say Callie's D tier as well. Like her utility's good, but it gets
I'd
easily
give her a
countered by.
C.
I'd put. I don't know. Like her utility is good because it counters like mute and bandit slash Cade if they're not tricking. But if they're tricking, she's useless because you can't put down the thermite charge ahead of time.
Yeah, but when she is useful, she's so useful, and her sniper is really good, and she has a
Is
pocket
it? It got
F2.
nerfed. Like it doesn't really down too often now,
Yeah,
unless
but
you're
it's still,
close.
I don't know. I'd give her C, like minimum. I think Callie is so much better of an operator than Lion. Like I don't think they're on the same level.
I would say honestly, I'd choose either or in the same type of, or I'd put either in the same type of range because
Mm.
like their weapons are okay. Callie just got nerfed, so I would put her more at D. If she went back to always downing no matter what, she'd easily be C.
Well, cause no, even if her sniper doesn't down all the time, she has a pocket F2 that she can just run around with.
All right, you go. Hurry up.
I will. I'm leaving, parting with Callie C. I'll be right back.
Okay. Chat. We'll try to make some decisions while Doggo's gone, and then when he comes back, he can give us his thoughts. D tier. So like
I
C,
just love Dex, bro.
I am saying if you're a C tier operator, you are useful in like 50% of situations. You have an average kit overall. As much as I love Oryx, I think he's a D tier operator. His utility is not that good. His gadget's not that good. His gun is great. He's a good roamer, but in situations where you can have a roamer, you could just get like a vigil. Like Castle, I'm putting at D tier. Only because there is so many ways to counter him now. His gadget has become more and more useless as time goes on. When it first came out, it was okay because the only counters were Ash and Sledge, or you could punch them or like use Thermite, but it was kind of a waste. Now you have Sledge, Ash, Zofia, anyone with grenades, Maverick, Flores, Ace, Hibana, which you can just use 2 pellets now to destroy it. Like there's just so many counters to it. Oh, and Gone 6, I forgot about that. Gone 6 now, which is on so many different operators. It's even worse now. Yeah, I think he's easily a D tier. I'm trying to think of who else would be down here because a lot of these operators, I'm thinking they're like C, B, A, or S, but I don't want to have one of those tier lists where it's like you have 90% of the people in the top 3 and then all the other ones at the bottom. I put Biltmore in E. He's just too easy to counter. I want to put Clash at D tier just because we said that in this overview that we're looking at more you're not playing in a 5 stack. Clash is really good in a 5 stack, but we're saying not in a 5 stack. Cav would probably be D tier as well. I think overall those are some good choices. You can start trying to fill in some C tier, like middle of the road operators. Aruni, I'd put at C tier. She's not great. Not bad. Gridlock is a C tier operator, I'd say. She's not amazing, but she gets the job done. Dokkaebi. I put Dokkaebi at C. Her weapons are really bad, but her gadget is really, really good. Ying has a lot of counters, but her guns are decent. Her utility's decent. Just about how often you can actually get it to work. I think I'll leave Rook at C tier. His utility always is beneficial. Like, it's just an overall good thing. Oh, hi, Doggo.
I disagree with Gridlock. I
Um,
think Gridlock should be B tier.
So what I was saying is she has decent guns. She has destruction with her pocket shoddy, and you can essentially always use her utility, but her utility is super easy to counter.
Okay, so here's my argument for why she should be B. I think her guns are more than decent. I think they're really good. I think she has really good guns because her primary has like 0 recoil, decent fire rate, ACOG, super good. The LMG is basically the same thing, just with more ammo and a longer reload.
The damage on it and fire rate on it's not that good. 38 damage with 780 fire rate. That it's pretty
Yeah, but
bad.
it has no recoil at all. Like it reminds me of like a slightly shittier like C70. I would put Gridlock in B, because like you said, you can basically always use her utility. And even though it's like decently easy to counter, a lot of the times if you're using it properly, they either have to choose to just take the damage from the tracks, or take the gunfight, or try and destroy the tracks, and then they delay taking the gunfight. You know exactly where they are, right?
Hmm.
And she has smokes. Like, she just has so much utility and the pocket shotgun.
But she is a 1 speed on attack, and she has probably the biggest hitbox out of all the operators in the game.
Her intended playstyle doesn't. You're not gonna be running and gunning with her, you know.
I suppose. I'll bend on that one. I think the other ones are. I might actually bring Rook down to D, but the reason why I left him on C is because like his gadget is always useful. Like you don't get any disadvantage for it, and everyone gets it.
It's just so easy to use, you know. Like,
Yeah.
there's just so much, just stagnant potential there, you know.
Dokkaebi, I said, is like pretty useful, but her guns are so awful that I would bring it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, I agree with her in C. I think Ying's an interesting choice for C.
I said because like she has so many counters. She has Wamai and Jaeger countering her now.
I just think that even if her things get caught by Jaeger, she has her 2 smokes to clear out a lot of that.
Hmm.
So she has smokes to clear out a Wamai, to clear out a Jaeger, and then she still has 4 Candelas.
It's
So
3.
she just has it's 3. Well, still, she has 5 things to throw around and clear all that utility, which is useful in itself.
One of my bigger concerns with her as well is also that the Candelas are still very inconsistent.
And people also forget that you can just shoot the Candelas.
That too, yeah. But
Like Yeti in Pro League just threw an impact at him.
yeah. So for me, I'm like C. I think is fine. Like she's middle of the road. She's not amazing. She is useful in some situations. She has good utility, but I personally wouldn't find myself being like, we have to bring a Ying. Yeah, we can.
I very much disagree with your clash.
Well, remember, we're saying that this is like if you're not playing in a 5 stack.
That's fair.
Doc, I was trying to decide between B or C. He's overall average because he's just Rook, but with meds. I'd say probably more
he's better
B.
than Rook.
Yeah.
Because he's just more actively useful. Like, I don't know. The thing is though, is if you're solo, you're probably just playing him to stim yourself, which is still more useful than Rook. So.
Yeah, one stim I think heals for more than the Rook armor would reduce on the entire team. It's just overall more useful. Echo, I was trying to decide. Yeah,
I would say Echo's in like C at this point. Either
yeah,
C or D, man.
Like his drones are so bad now. Lesion B. Like you can always bring him. He's always useful.
Yeah, I would put Lesion in B for sure. There's just so much intel he can use. His
Honestly,
gun's
maybe
super good.
Maybe A.
Yeah, I was thinking either B or A. Definitely not C. I put Frost in no lower than C. People sleep on Frost.
Her gun is good. Like it does a lot of damage, just low fire rate, and her gadget can be good if they don't find it, which in high ranks they tend not to.
No, because even if you play Frost correctly, if you put down a Frost mat under a window, and they decide to take the gunfight, they have to choose between you or the Frost mat. So, like, worst case scenario, you down them.
Yeah. I'd say she's like C just because of her weapon. Like, it is a strong weapon, but it's super slow fire rate, which is bad.
Yeah.
Oh, true, she does have the pocket shot, you know, for a distraction. Yeah, I'd probably bump that up to B then.
Yeah, fuck it, B.
I'd probably say Monty if we're going based off the whole, like, you're coordinating with people you don't know and...
Yeah, Monty solo fucking sucks. Plus, after they nerfed him, I just cannot play him anymore. Okay, no. I am fighting back. Callie should not be below Monty.
Really?
Yes. Callie is so much better than Monty.
She is more useful in the overall, but I'm thinking more...
she's better than Dokkaebi. No, I'm okay. Even if we have to push this back to the end, I don't care. Callie should not be in D tier.
I'm just thinking about like how many times people go Callie and I just shit on them and I can still ban trick so easily. Like her gadget can be useful, but I'm constantly thinking about the bandit tricking mindset of that. It's useless in that. So if they ban Thatcher, Callie is not that good as a backup, but we can come back to that one. I would say Cade is like B. He's more useful than he's useless. But his weapon's kind of meh.
I would put Cade in A personally. He's the only one that can like trick hatches. On certain sites, he's just like impenetrable unless you bring a Maverick.
I guess we're thinking about like with bans in mind as well, because the Thatcher, who's banned in 80% of matches, you just can't counter Cade, even with a Callie.
I'd put him in A. I don't think he's S because of his guns, but I definitely think he's A.
Well, my probably put.
I'd put him in B.
Yeah, because like his gadget's really good, but you can just tank them all with flashes. It's not that useful. He lost his shield as well, which was like one of his biggest factors.
Yeah.
Alibi, I'd probably put
I'd put Alibi
B
in
or
C.
C. Her gun is
I mean,
really good. Her
it
gadget
depends.
can
She
be
has a really good
useful.
gun and impacts, and her gadget's like okay, but I don't think she's as good as like a Wamai or a Frost.
Capital, I'd probably say is average in terms of
I'd
solo
put him in
queue.
B.
His gadget's useful, but his gun is kind of ass.
Do you think the pair's ass?
In terms of just stats, yeah, it's actually bad compared to other guns.
I think it just feels good.
Feels good, but it doesn't hurt. It's a 650 fire rate. Like each shot is impactful, sure, but it's low damage. The bolts countering Jaeger is pretty good, I'll admit. And Jaeger's super high pick, so that does bump him up a bit.
I mean, yeah, I'd say highest B, lowest C. Like I'd say he's right in that range. I'd
Mhm.
either put him at like the highest in C or lowest in B. You know.
Mew, I'd say, is probably B
I
more
feel
than A, just
yeah,
because he
I'd say
doesn't
he's
destroy
high B.
gadgets.
He used to be like a D, but now he's like high B because
Yeah.
of just how much shit he does.
IQ, I'd probably say is around B. Like her gadget.
Wait, actually, I would maybe put Mute in A.
The reason why I think he deserves B more than A is, like, I think Bandit would be an A operator, S operator, just because they break the gadget. Mute only delays it, so you're not gonna stop a push with mutes. They'll just destroy the
Yeah, but
mute.
it's just like all the little things add up, you know. Like number one, he's a big counter to Flores, who's been pretty prevalent. He
Oh,
he
true. I
counters like
forgot
he
this
counters
fucker exists.
Dokkaebi, Lion, Blitz, Nomad, Claymores, all that shit. He has
Dokkaebi,
four of
Line,
his.
and Blitz. If you're, those are not operators you should be
Yeah,
bringing mute,
he also, but
expecting them to
like it's
counter.
just there, you know. It's like an added thing. He has the shotgun, which is utility. Shotgun SMG is really good.
I
He has
guess.
nitro. He has 4 jammers, which can cover 2 walls max. Sure, they're easy to get rid of, but it's like a tiny roadblock. I'd put him. I'd put him in A.
I
I
think
think.
the reason why I'm thinking more B than A is because I think his gadget is overall more useless than Bandit or Cade.
Well, it's also
And his guns are worse.
It's not only for like breach denial though. It's also just intel denial. He denies so much intel.
I guess. Which brings Monzi in at probably I'd say A. S
I put
almost, but like the only issue I have
Mozzie's
with it,
getting up there.
the only issue I have with him in terms of not putting him in S is because it's so easy to just be like, oh, there's a pest, send in a drone, immediately shoot it, and you just like you lose utility, but you also just make Mozzie waste it.
I think his guns are super good, and he's a 3-speed, which gives him super good fragging potential.
And a
But compared to some
C4.
of what I'm considering an S, I think he's still A. We can
Yeah.
move him up later, but
Like S is already like easily Ace,
Ace for
S,
sure.
Ash, Jaeger, Sophia, like Thermite, Hibana, like all the breachers
Thatcher.
basically. Maverick, you said?
I said, well, Maverick and Thatcher, to be
Yeah.
fair.
Like you could maybe argue now with the next nerf coming, Jaeger might be moved down to an A, but his gadget's just like you need to have it no matter what. Vigil I'd put at A. He's a really good roamer, but his utility in terms of like team is not there. Like he's a selfish pick.
Well, he's super good for solo.
Yeah. Goyo.
Monzi too.
Goyo, I think I'd put it like B. Like his shields are good, but I don't think I ever see Goyo ran. Like he's ran a lot in Pro League because of his coordination ability and his
Yeah, I mean,
utility, but
like shield meta, he is really good, but also you can't really play the shield if they have like a nomad or anything.
or
like,
Flores, who's like
yeah,
easily an
so
S tier.
yeah, Flores is definitely S tier. I think people in lower ranks try and use him too much to kill people, and they're like, "Yo, this guy sucks."
Yeah.
His his just like utility clear is so good, and he has 4 of them. You
Yeah.
just get 4 like indestructible nitros to put basically anywhere you want and destroy their utility.
I'm putting IQ in B just because like she can destroy gadgets from below and stuff, but she's super vulnerable while she has it out. It's not like Ash where you just shoot it and pull out your primary right away. Like you're stuck with a secondary out. Goyo, I'm not too sure between A and B. We're talking
I think Goyo's worse than all of the defenders we have in A right now.
Yeah, like there's very few situations where I'd be like, we need a Goyo over a Mute or Bandit or Mozzie.
Hmm.
He has a really good gun. He has a good utility, but in solo platinum, just I don't think he's there. I actually just noticed all the people in A are defenders, and then all the people except for one in S are attackers.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, huh?
Honestly,
But
actually, I would maybe move Bandit up to A or S, but I'm also thinking of someone who like Bandit tricks as opposed to higher rank play. Probably doesn't see as much Bandit as
yeah,
Kate or Mute
you put Ella in S.
for the shotgun.
I think Ella is
I'd say B
A.
or C, honestly.
I'd give her A or B. If you're thinking B or C, I'd definitely give her a B rather than an A.
I could see B. Like her gadgets are okay. They're not like amazing. They're pretty easy to counter, and even if they hit you, like doesn't really do a whole lot. It just slows you
Yeah.
down.
I think just they nerfed her gun into the ground. Like the shotgun's still good. The Scorpion is like okay now, but it's not as good as it used to be.
Yeah.
Her gadget isn't as good as it used to be. She's just out of her prime. Smoke's S tier
Yeah.
for sure. He's so good. You just
Mira,
have
I'd
to give
say
her
is
the
like
energy.
A tier.
Well, for taking bans into consideration, she's definitely A
I just
instead of
love
S.
Dex, bro.
Yeah.
I would say with no
Almost
bans,
40
she's pretty
months.
good. But
Gross
even then,
varsity thump.
she's countered by Twitch and Flores now.
She's also not super useful on every site. Like there's always if you look on a map, there's like maybe one or two sites where you're like Mira is amazing for this, and the other sites you just wouldn't even bother with her.
Yeah.
Jackal, I'd probably say is I'm bordering on S,
I'd give him A
but
because you need a
you
need
lose
all of the
something when you take
operators
him.
yeah, you need all of the operators in S more than you need a Jackal, you know?
Yeah, Jackal's more just like, oh, they're roaming, let's just hunt them down. Melissa's probably S tier. Man, I even said at the beginning, I was like, I don't want to have one of those tier lists where everyone's just an S and then the rest of the categories are barren, but these guys are all just always useful.
Mm-hmm.
Pulse, I'd put at like high B, low A.
Yeah, I'd give him B because it's just like she's really good at planting on obviously, or like
Mhm.
getting an early pick, but it's just so easy to roam clear a pulse because his guns are so shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
If a team focuses on roam clearing you and they bring like someone to drone you out and then an Ash, you're just fucked.
Very true. Twitch, I'm heavily looking at C just because
I'd put her at
her gun is
C.
good, but her gadget has been basically made useless.
Gadget is so shit, but her gun is so good.
Yeah. I feel like that cancels out each other, and no one ever runs Twitch anymore. I never see Twitches.
I'd give her like a C at this point.
Buck, I'd say is like probably I'd say A, and then Sledge would be B,
I'd put yeah, I'd agree.
just because he's just more useful.
It's just well, Sledge has nades, but
But Buck can get top and bottom. Like he's more versatile. Yana,
no, Yana's like C or B.
yeah, like she's good intel, but you really need to coordinate with the team, and it's not like crazy intel. I'd say she's average.
I'd put Nomad in A.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever a situation where like you really don't need a nomad, but it's not.
No one's gonna complain about Nomad, but
Yeah.
she's not always necessary, you know? Like she's just good.
I guess we could maybe bring Hibana down a tier, just because she is really good when it comes to hatches. But a lot of sites now are being preferred for like their walls, so Hibana's not as useful in that situation.
Yeah, I'd put Habana in A to be honest. She's probably the worst hard breacher.
Yeah, like she's the most versatile for sure, but she's just so weak when it comes to walls. I want to say Valkyrie is like her intel is amazing, but her gun is ass. I'd probably put her on B. Maybe bordering on A, but
I just love Dex, bro.
I don't know. The gun's
I'd
just
put her in A.
really.
I think she's just so strong. Like she's just I don't know. Like you see her getting banned on maps like Oregon, where the outdoor play is so good.
I just
I
love
guess,
Dex, bro.
yeah. I'll think about that one for a bit. Zero. I'd say he's like a B operator because you kind of have to give up something just to bring him, and all he
I'd put him
really,
in C, man.
really,
I'd put 0 in C.
his gun is basically an AK with just a little bit less fire rate. Has the same damage.
Well, he has the MP7 and his other gun's pretty good, the F2 or F2000 or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
his gadget's pretty shit. He doesn't
Really?
have
You
nades
think so?
anymore. Yeah. You just you shoot it immediately. It makes so much noise.
Actually, yeah, I guess there's very few situations. I feel like the only times I ever get my gadget down is when people aren't on site.
Like if you use his gun for flank watch, it can be pretty good. But it's just I think he's like I don't know. I'm not a fan of Zero.
I would say for the flank watch potential, I'd put him more at B. If you try to use
Fair.
his cameras on site all the time, they're gonna get destroyed all the time. So like you really have to clear out, put a camera on flank watch, and leave it. Valkyrie and Maestro.
Okay, I'd put Maestro in A.
Really?
A, lowest high B. His Alda is just so good.
It is,
His
and his
gadget's so good. I give him A for sure.
it is easily countered now with just how much destruction people are normally bringing.
Yeah, but even if all his gadgets get destroyed, you still have an Alda.
I would put Valkyrie personally more at a B tier, solely because
A B.
so the reason why I would put him at B is only because her weapon is pretty bad. And yes, there is a lot of outside play or C4 play with her, but it's kind of the same situation as Pulse that you made, where it's like you can just clear out the Valkyrie below because she has a shit weapon and you can take her out easily.
DMPix is not shit.
Chat's saying that Maestro should be an S tier, but I can think of quite a few sites where I'm like, there's no reason to bring a Maestro here. He's not useful. His utility just isn't useful there.
I'd put her in A. You're saying the Valk is the same usefulness as Goyo and Frost and Ella.
You're right. We need to reshuffle the entire list.
I think Valk's A for sure.
Let's review and see if there's anything we need to shuffle. I
Callie,
honestly think I'd be
fuck
willing to
Callie.
let IQ drop down to C.
Yeah, same. Fuck her.
She has the G8A1, but her utility is just not crazy good. And she can't even
Callie is
destroy
zero.
half the electronics she scans now because they're all bulletproof.
I want Callie up.
You're probably right. I'd probably say she belongs in average. Because, like, there's a lot of
B,
situation.
I want her in
Okay.
B.
Let's say you're actually trying to win, right?
Yep.
Let's say they go basement of bank. Would you really want to bring a Callie in that situation, or would you want to bring a Thatcher?
Yeah, but Thatcher's just always banned.
But like,
Thatcher's literally always banned. He's
I don't know.
definitely
There's
still an S. For sure he's an S. When he's not banned, he's just a go-to pick.
for me,
Okay.
I just wouldn't want to choose a Callie unless it's an upstairs site and there's a long range fight that I can take. Like, I just don't really want to bring her inside because of her low ammo capacity on her SMG.
But she has a pocket F2.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the low ammo capacity on that, which while it's still strong in a fight with a defender, if you run out of ammo, you're fucked, and then you don't have a primary to rely on. Because
I
like,
don't know.
and her
I-
sniper got nerfed like crazy.
I just think she's so much better than Ying and Dokkaebi and Diana.
Honestly, I would put them almost, or I'd put them in the same category just because like they have their advantages, but they also have their severe disadvantages, which in this case is for Callie is her ability to push in. Her main benefit is staying outside and also just destroying stuff from a distance, but Siege is all about close quarter fights, which you can take with the SMG, but there have been plenty of situations where I run out of ammo, I'm just fucked.
That's just because you suck.
Okay.
Her SMG is so good, dude. It's just so good. It's literally a pocket F2, man. I don't know. It's your list. You can give it a C. I personally think she's at least a B. I think I think she's on par with Gridlock and Sledge and Zero.
I'm trying to see who else I want to reshuffle. I want to bring some people down from A.
And then they'll probably bring some people down from B, huh?
If we're looking at like just utility and in weapons, I almost want to bring Vigil down to B. He's a really good operator with his guns, and he's a roamer at like 3-speed everything. But his utility is not that great.
Yeah, he has impacts, that's about it.
Like, he is a very selfish operator that can frag out like crazy, but it's not like Jaeger where you can just put it down and it's always useful. He's only useful for himself for 12 seconds, and then he's exposed. Do I do it?
I'm pretty happy with him in A, to be honest.
I just feel like there's so many situations
I
where
just think it's like if you're gonna pick a roamer, solo queue Vigil's probably your best bet.
like Nomad is one that I'm kind of jumping back and forth on. Like, she is like what you said, like no one's ever going to argue against the Nomad, but her air jabs are kind of easy to destroy. Like, sure, there are some locations you can put them on, and yes, they do stop flanks, but I feel like more and more recently I've been having a lot of situations where we put down a Nomad air jab and the person just destroys it. I don't
Oh
know.
no, I'm a big Nomad fan. I can see why you wouldn't want her in A.
I'm a
but
huge Nomad fan. I love her, but I just don't think that she'd be A tier. But
what are we comparing her to with the rest of A tier?
so like something like Jackal or Buck or Hibana is their gadgets are going to be useful in almost every situation. Nomad, I feel like, is
Yeah, but
an
Nomad
operator.
just takes the weight off of your shoulders of needing to have someone on flank watch.
But in that situation, then Zero should go up to A.
Well, no, because then someone's still to be on cams.
Oh, you mean like you don't need anyone watching it? Okay.
You don't need anyone
yeah.
watching it. I mean,
I
on
see what you
maps like Chalet, like inside, there's
Mhm.
gonna be some more like rotate avenues, but I don't know. I think she's definitely more useful than like Zero.
I would think. Okay, I might be willing to bring Callie up to B,
Let's go.
but after reviewing, I think I'd bring Frost down to C.
That's fair.
Because like you're arguing about her weapon being so good it brings her up, but I think Frost weapon, even though it's high damage, is such a low fire rate that I don't think it's that useful. Like the gadget is really like C tier's 50-50. I think her gadget's 50-50. Either you catch someone off guard and kill them with it, or you just do nothing with it. I'd say more times than not her gadget's useless, but she can still frag out.
Yeah, but it's just like even if her like I can see her being C, but even if her gadget doesn't get like any downs, she still has a pocket shotgun and a shield.
feel
Yeah,
like-
I'd bring a Rooney up,
Really?
but her thing like replenishes. So if you play it right, it can get rid of multiple utility at a time. She has free punches, which is it can make
True.
rotates and stuff. And she also comes with like barbed. I don't even know what her other one is, but yeah.
I'll move her up to B. I kind of want to bring Bandit down.
I'd agree, to be honest.
His gadget is good if you're an active bandit tricker, but now in most situations where you can bandit trick, it's just so easy to counter.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
I've
'cause, like, you
rarely
can put him down, right?
Bandit tricked now with
But-
him.
Let's say they start Maverick tricking, you're fucked.
Yeah,
They have a Zofia and an Ace, you're fucked.
yeah, which are all S tier operators that counter it.
Cade is probably the one defender I could see being S tier
Mm.
besides Malusi. Because I mean, like I said, he's the only one who can get hatches too. I think that in itself is just so powerful.
I guess, but like hatch play, while it's good, I feel like has kind of fallen a little bit. I feel like a lot of sites that used to be all about hatch play have kind of fallen more to just strategic pushes from like same level. Because you think about bank, sure that hatch and CCTV is important, but a lot of people just push the default wall now and plant there. Like you can get the hatch open for more cover, but it's not necessary.
Mm.
Other sites or other maps like hatches have been basically made obsolete. Like Oregon basement hatches are no longer useful at all. Clubhouse, like you can try, but even with Cades on it, they're still gonna destroy it because they can just destroy next to it. Chat's going crazy about our opinions.
What did they say?
They're just saying that we're sleeping on a lot of operators and that some should be S tier, but at this rate, we'd have literally every single operator S tier because they're like, well, there's the one time where I killed someone as alibi because my gadget pinged them. It's like, S tier, let's
Have
go.
you ever heard of the trick where you pretend to be the alibi?
That's an S tier move.
Fools them every time.
I think that's good for that. I cannot wait to hear what you guys have to say about our tier list. Remember, we were saying for solo queue people, this is what we thought would be the best tier list for them. Everyone has their own opinions. Feel free to leave your opinions down below in the comments. Try to keep it civil because at the end of the day, again, they're all opinions. But thank you guys for watching. Take care.